Hey guys, it's Zoe from Ignite here. Before we get into today's video, just wanted to let you know, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell for post notifications so then you know when we upload our next video. So today we're going to be looking at themes in Waiting for Godot. In terms of the themes which are worth discussing, there are 4 which you should mention. So there's the questioning of truth, existential anxiety, hope, and power. Let's start with the questioning of truth. Within Waiting for Godot, a main component is the idea of a questioning of truth and past narratives which we as society have accepted. These narratives may include the idea of God and its existence, or his or her existence, the idea of political structures and what we accepted as a moral political structure, and the idea of history and what we accept as the past and how we learn from that. So this coincided with the advent of World War II and the Cold War context, which the text arises from, and a sort of shift in artistic paradigms from modernism to postmodernism. So as can be seen on the screen, this kind of led to a rise of these questions of what is truth, who has power, and can we be saved from this post-atomic age where I suppose destruction seemed increasingly imminent. So within the text, a lot of the discussion which is seen throughout Act 1 particularly surrounds the ideas of religion and philosophy as we know it, and sees Vladimir and Estragon kind of, I suppose, investigating the validity of the narratives which we as a society have learned and have adopted from biblical texts or politics or history, and sort of, throwing into doubt all of the ideas which we had accepted as truth and valid in this context. So I think what's important to note within the text is that the way that the characters interact, as well as the way particularly Vladimir in Act 2 remembers things which other characters don't remember, shows that history and truth as we know it is inherently subjective, as postmodernism encourages us to remember, and that in this post-atomic society there is a need to kind of, I suppose, capture new truths and new ways to lead society through life with a sort of purpose and direction. So the next theme that's worth talking about is existential anxiety, which is inherently linked to the previous questioning of truth. This is immediately linked to the idea of atomic warfare and nuclear weapons and what that kind of means for gathering purpose and direction in society. So as I previously mentioned, the Cold War was a society in which citizens kind of went through life with the idea that, you know, destruction and the end was near. And so this kind of threw into doubt a lot of the ideas about purpose which were previously adhered to. So throughout the text, I suppose the idea of cyclical violence and the concept of the Act 1 and Act 2 as nearly identical kind of throws into question whether life has this meaning and relates directly back to the idea of existential anxiety. Beckett also used this in adopting ideas from philosophers such as Albert Camus and Jean-Paul Sartre, please mind my pronunciation, where the idea of stories such as The Smiling Sisyphus, where a character pushed a rock up a cliff day after day and kind of allowed for this to cyclically happen, was kind of, I suppose, a major inspiration for Waiting for Godot, and the idea that the characters continue to wait for Godot, and whilst they wish to go and leave this existence, they don't move and continue on. So the next idea that we're going to look at is hope. While the text seems inherently bleak, and it is in the way it's written, I suppose a way to look at the end sort of scene where they don't move, and this continual motif of let's go, we can't, why not, we're waiting for Godot, kind of looks at the idea of hope and the idea that humanity inherently endures despite oppression towards a salvation, and that we don't need a form of meaning to endure as a civilization. There's also the idea of hope in the characters' interactions, where Vladimir and Estragon are sort of a symbol of human connection and the idea that we can derive meaning from our relationships with others when everything else around us seems inherently meaningless. So it's important to note that there is light amongst the darkness in this text, and in order to gain a balanced perspective of the text, it's important to note the sort of positive meanings that we can derive from some of the themes within the text. The last idea we're going to look at is power. This is particularly seen through the relationship between Pozzo and Lucky, as well as the idea of stock characters and what that means within the text and for humanity as a whole. So the relationship between Pozzo and Lucky is very much one of domination and oppression, where Pozzo is very much this egotistical leader which we would observe of post-war society in capitalist and communist leaders within the Cold War conflict. So it looks at Pozzo as inherently immoral in his treatment of Lucky, who has been silenced in his idea of being a slave, and kind of questions our leaders to reflect on their engagement in nihilistic distraction and to what extent power prevails over the endurance of humanity. So Lucky is a figure which has been silenced by these political structures which we have observed throughout culture, and kind of reflects this idea of humanity as oppressed and as silenced as a collective voice in this bid for power and domination of our world leaders. In addition, looking at the stock characters within the text, the idea of the characters as interchangeable, whilst a flawed idea and can't be stated on its own, kind of looks at the idea that we're all equal and that humanity is inherently all ordinary, and there's no kind of power structures, or rather in this purposeless world which Vladimir, Estragon, Pozzo and Lucky live in, there's no way to distinguish and to establish class hierarchies. And I guess you could look at this as Beckett's commentary on how post-war power structures should change, how they should be structured, and where we potentially have gone wrong. So that's it for themes in Waiting for Godot. Once again, if you liked today's video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the content, subscribe to our channel and we'll have more videos coming your way.
That's right guys, thanks for watching, and please make sure you check out our online resource database. We've had a team of state rank achievers and heads of English put these together for you, covering everything from essay structures and examples all the way through to craft of writing and comprehension skills. So check them out at ignitehse.com.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.